Hello guys, it is 22nd of May 2017. I had to double check the year there. It is 19:30, so 7:30 over here in the UK. Yeah, it's my favourite time of the week when I get to talk to you guys about trading. Before we all do that though, what's been going on in my life for the last week? I have been sick. So that's why you're getting a big sick on there. I've been off of work. I've basically been in bed for 5 days. To be quite honest with you, I've really psyched myself into being able to be this energetic to be on to make this video. I've been kind of, but as always, life is good, isn't it? You know, as long as my heart's beating, we are winning. Yeah, so with my sickness, I've mainly been in bed looking at yachts and learning about sailing, but not even doing that much. It really wiped me out. But I don't believe in going to the doctor because I'm such a man. Might as well just have man flu and be done with it. Right, so trading. What have we got to talk about trading wise? First of all, weekly close. So this is double barreled, this actually. So I basically had a £4 win, so blah 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 of this week, which we'll look at in a minute. So basically I consider that a break-even trade at the end of the day. On a 10k account, it's nothing. So one trade closed, that was a silver trade with a little bit of profit. Now, what is difficult is, sorry, I just heard something, God knows, maybe the house is falling down. What's difficult with this this week's reporting, if you like, is that I ran through all my numbers again and found out that there was a trade I'd missed, boo, where I'd lost 0.25%. It was a USD Jappy trade, which I hadn't accounted for. So I have now accounted for that. I haven't included it in this week's loss because it was back at the end of April. But yeah, we're now looking at the real number. So I am officially 5.51% down for this year. Yeah. So with that, yeah, sorry, brain's just running. Yeah, so that's where I am, 5.51% down. So I've got a bit of work to do. Now, I've had some learning points this week, which we'll go into. I want you guys to learn when I learn, basically. Why not? But my learning points have been irritating at best. How are we doing here? We are into 2 minutes. Fine. So let's have a look at this closed trade. So I will, my internet's not been running very well actually, but let's just activate that and see where that takes us. Okay, so that takes us to here. You can see our silver trade here. And what have you. So there is the entry. So let me just set this up. So that's loading that, and then I want to have a look at this here. I will get silver on here. I've already got silver on here, which is great. So let's get a daily on there. And 8 hourly. Right, so I'm a bit disappointed with myself, and the reason is twofold, but we'll go into the what's in a minute. So where the hell am I here? I need browser, which is that. So as you can see here, this trade was setting up very nicely. Okay, I had two positions. I'd got this first position here, 25 pips up, and I got in a good position on this pullback here on the second one. So my trade execution, actually my first order, I didn't like my positioning at all, to be fair. But, you know, when you look at this, it was going well and it was all in my favour. So I started moving my stops up. Now, recently I had a conversation with the main man, my main man Virgil, and right, so this isn't a criticism of any information from, because we talk about so much trading wise, but I basically changed the way I trade a little bit to let's get to break even ASAP, which is against the way I actually normally trade. Okay, I normally trade purely based on the patterns. Okay, so basically I squeezed my stops. Now I'm not saying that this advice, you know, this discussion we had would have changed the way I traded, definitely, but it might have. So what's happened to me, anyway, I'm sorry if Virg, if you're watching this isn't a blame game. What I'm highlighting here is that there's basically two ways to approach it, and you've got to stick to the way that you want to do it, okay? Because there's another reason, which has nothing to do with Virgil, that God, Jesus Christ, please don't think I'm insulting Virgil, because I'm really not. There's another scenario which I'll go into in a minute where somebody else said something and I've acted upon it. So I always say it's your sword in your hand, right? You're fighting this battle, so you can have all this information and you're going to get this information, but you've got to do what you're doing. So anyway, yeah, with that in mind, I take full responsibility for it. I've done the thing. I've lowered my risk, so I have stopped myself from busting out. But maybe I shouldn't have done it in this instance. So what you can see happen here is the market's pulled back to what I would consider reasonable level. But when I was looking at it like this, I had my trades... where were we? So I don't know. I think one was about there, and one was about, must have been about here. I'm guessing now. Yeah, so that makes sense. And I had both of them set to break even. This one was a little bit in profit. Now, and the market's continued. So I've pushed my stops to get myself to break even. Whereas, so that is a, you know, it's a very, God, I really feel like I've insulted people here, because I really am not. What I'm saying is you've got two options. You either trade it by support and resistance, which means leaving the risk on the table longer, which means I'd still be in the trading profit, or you can aim to minimize your risk as soon as you can, which means squeezing the trade a little bit. Now, with my risk management hat on, not my Compton hat, but my risk management, I can never argue really with removing risk ASAP, because for me that's what trading's about. You want to get rid of your risk as quick as you can, okay? So that's one argument. The other is, of course, that the trade's got to breathe and got to do what the trade's doing. So yeah, it would have been interesting to see if I hadn't have changed my technique, which I changed it based on my information, no blame there, Christ, if I still would have traded this differently. Anyway, the good news is that I have ISAs tracking this, so my ISAs are starting to show a little bit of faith, as well as other things which are a little bit of faith. Christ, a little bit of faith. Faith? I don't even know what I mean by that. Showing a little bit of return on it, and we are off and running. So, yeah, not all is lost, but basically I got out for break even. Now, you cannot argue in any way that having a break even trade is there, and I really hope I haven't said anything bad. Virgil, I still love you, bud, because, as I say, it's my thing. Christ, he's probably going to rinse me now. Yes, okay, so now we're getting some props here. So, where are we? Oh, let me go back. Okay, so I hope I explained that a bit. So that's what happened on a trade that stopped out. So I don't have anything open at the moment. I had two trades clip out today, one of which I'm very upset about, and another one which I'm partially upset about, but they will be for next week. I'm looking at last week. And then I've got a few orders. So let's have a quick talk. I've talked about silver already. I think silver's off for a little bit. So what have I got? I've got CAD Jappy set up. I've got CAD Jappy. So do I mean CAD Jappy? I don't. I mean Swiss Jappy. I did have CAD Jappy noted, but I removed it because I didn't like it. Swiss Jappy, so let me just remind myself of what's going on here. Yep, support and resistance play, really. So we've got quite a decent support level along here, as you can see. I've got an order there just to get clipped and hop us back down to somewhere around here. So nice simple little support and resistance trade, giving me almost 3 to 1, which isn't bad. So that guy can sit there doing that. What else have I got over here? CAD Swissy, CAD Swissy, CAD Swissy, CAD Swissy. Anyone see it? Shout at me if you can. Yeah. Now this was Virgil's trade, which I so Virgil, the man that I was just talking about, threw this at me earlier in the week. I went, yeah, man, looks good to me, and that was the end of it. And I've just come across it again in my travels and put an order in, which I'm assuming will be quite similar to his. So we've got these spikes here. Let me get rid of the crap on here. We don't need that one. So we've got these spikes here, as you can see. The idea is that we might clip this behind this support and resistance line here, and then back up to here. So I've got 0.17 to make 0.53. So again, what are we, 3 to 1, shy of 3 to 1. I'm happy enough with that. What's that? 220 pips to, yeah, it's about 3 to 1. Yeah, so that's just going to sit there. Unfortunately, I couldn't really up the risk because I didn't want to push the trade. So thank you, Virgil. Thank you for that one, mate. I concur. Bang. I'd be interested where your stop is, actually. You may well have put it further behind here, which I also like. But we'll see what we do. I'll keep an eye on this market as well. If there's, if it's doing anything which I can kind of get in at a better price, I will. Interestingly, the reason I started looking at it more was because it was starting to look like a buy on the 8 hourly. But don't really like the 8 hourly charts at the moment, so leaving that. The other one I've got is Jappy 225. Jappy 225. Is that what it is? Jappy GPN 225. Sorry, I call it Jappy 225. Jappy GPN 225. Indices short, no doubt. Yeah, so I've got that going from an itchy sell on the 2 hour chart. So basically it's broken through, gone short, pulled back, and I've got an order in there to let it fall further. Looking at that now, I'm going to make it a bit tighter, to be honest. There you go. This is real-time trading, and that's 0.23, so that's perfect. Just flick through the bid-ask, like to do that just to make sure we're not too close to the market in either thing, which we are there. So we will lift that up a tad. Real live trading with Phil E. Blunt, the showboating trader. Yeah, so that looks a bit prettier to me. Anyway, yeah, it's a short. We've got support at this 220,000 level here. If you look at the weekly, come off of it twice. So idea is it's going down and we're reasonably levered. Now, of course, it might have just broken through this, come back, and then we're off to the cloud. But it does look like the momentum's a bit short at the moment, and we've got a sell over here on the daily. So maybe I'll catch a break. Interestingly, I had a sell order already on this here, and no, I didn't. I had a sell order at the top of this 20, and I missed it by a few pips. So a bit disappointed. So I missed that leg down. But as you can see, it's retraced anyway, so what are you going to do? Anyway, that's my thing. So the two lessons I've got, I'm just going to add a lessons learned section here. So do your own thing when it comes to stops, okay? As I say, I change, which I fully take responsibility for because of a discussion which I'd had. I thought it was a better thing to do. But in hindsight, I think I need to trade the way that I trade. Because that's effectively changing my strategy. I'm doubting that as I say it. Welcome to the mindset and the crazy crap that goes on inside a trading brain. Yeah, so the second one I've written down, if someone says something they're going to do, don't do a thing. It's your trade. It's so blatantly obvious I want to punch myself with this. So this isn't related to... that isn't related to what I was just talking about, but is actually related to GBP Jappy, was it? And yeah, I pulled the plug on this today. I was short this, as you can see, 2 trades, and I pulled the plug because somebody else, who is one of my trading mentors, in fairness, who got into the trade for slightly different reasons, but was still short nevertheless, pulled the plug on his trade and said he thought it looked bullish, and I went, fine, that's enough for me. I had taken another loss earlier in the day, which we can look at, and next week, and I just closed everything. And on reflection, I should have come to my charts. I should have checked it properly. I was on my phone at the time, and I shouldn't have done that, because looking at this now, I personally still think it's short. So we'll see who's right, who knows, but having the discipline to really do your own trading and to do what you do, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I say this to my mentor group. I'm a mentor of a group. You're out there, right? It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or says. You're doing your thing, and I didn't do my thing, and I still made the decision Yeah, and you know, I was, in fairness, I was probably along the lines of, I'm, you know, it's getting a bit much for me right now. I want to close out. I don't know if that makes any sense. But anyway, yeah, your decision, your trading. You do what you do. I do what I do. You do what you do, and I shouldn't be influenced by anyone else. Incidentally, that's something which has really been an interesting topic. How we do 50 minutes for me recently is that most people go, "Oh yeah, trading's a very lonely sport, if you like, or pastime." And it is great to get involved in a community. It's really wicked to be able to discuss it. And to be honest, without the trading community, I'd been much worse off. But there are times where I personally think it's actually detrimental to the way you trade, because it can get you into trades that you might not necessarily want to. I don't really suffer from this too much these days, to be honest, but I mean, certainly in the past. And as I can say, it got me out of a trade which I still want to be in. Which is fascinating because you know, again, trading is all about discipline, right? Discipline, and you don't want to break it. And that's why, if anything, I'm a bit annoyed with myself today. It isn't because I've done anything horrendous. It's just that I know my discipline has gone a little bit, and I'm pretty disciplined as a trader. So there. Anyway, that's me out. I hope you have a great week. Oh, news-wise, yeah, so rate decision for CAD, yeah, USD stuff, and we've got somebody speaking in Europe on Wednesday. But anyway, going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to keep trading the way I am. I'm not heavily focused on trading at the moment. I'm just doing my thing, okay? In the future, I really want to improve the way I trade, make it better, make it more efficient. But I just don't have the time to invest in it, and that is because I'm trying to invest it in so many other things at the moment. I checked my diary the other day. I'm busy up to September, so it is all good, man. Live the dream, enjoy life, get whatever you can out of it. Virgil, if you're watching, big love, man. Always appreciate your support. Anybody else, if this helped in any way, give it a thumbs up on YouTube, give it a thumbs up on Facebook. I'd love that. It makes me feel like I'm actually helping, even if it's just that you can look at me and go, you're an idiot. Big love, live the dream. Adios. Stop recording.